Alright, this is page 311. I'm going to do some of the problems off there. Try to make sure you understand them. On number 6 through 8, looks like it deals with the same, they use the same picture for both of them. So our x-axis, our y-axis, then the triangle, triangle looks something like this. And we got point E here, point D over here. Again, my picture might not be exactly the way it should be, so don't go by that. They tell us A up here, this is B, this is C. B is -4, 0. C is 10, 0. And A is -2, 6. They want us to find the coordinates of D and E, which they tell us that segment triangle ABC has vertices. DE is a mid-segment. We talked about that last class. Mid-segment means that both of these, D and E, are midpoints, and it also means that it's parallel to the bottom side down here. So if we are trying to find the coordinates of E, then we're just going to use the midpoint formula. Midpoint formula for E, you would just use point B and point A, add your x's together, -2 plus -4 divided by 2, add your y's together, 6 plus 0 divided by 2, and that tells us, I better not put E out here, oh yeah, that is the coordinates for E. -2 and -4 give you -6. -6 divided by 2 is -3. This is the coordinates for E. 6 plus 0 is 6. Divided by 2 is 3. That's the coordinates for E. Do the same thing for D. We got -2 plus 10. Use A and C this time. Divided by 2. And then 6 plus 0 divided by 2. That's 8 divided by 2, which is 4. 6 plus 0 is 6. Divided by 2 is 3. That's the coordinates for D. That's the answer for number 6. Number 7 says verify that DE is parallel to BC. Well, what you do is find the slope of DE and BC. Well, the slope of any horizontal line is 0, so slope, remember that's not right in, let's write slope. Slope of DE, line DE or segment DE equals 0. Slope of BC equals 0 because they're both horizontal. Well, if the slopes are same, then they are parallel to each other. Number 8 says verify that DE is 1/2 BC. Well, all we have to do, we can find the length of BC just by counting because it is horizontal. So the zeros stay the same, so we don't worry about them. We just figure out how far we move from -4 to 10. Well, if you go from -4 all the way over to 10, which I'm not going to draw it all out, you get 14 spaces. That's how long BC is. And then to find ED, well, we found the coordinates of E and D. And if we look down here, we found them. The 3's are the same. So we're going from -3 all the way over to 4. And if we were to count those spaces in there, you'd get 7. Well, 7 is half of 14. So that's what they wanted. They want us to show that. This length is 7, which a mid-segment should be half of the side that it's parallel to in the triangle, and 7 is half of 14. Problem 13 says the distance along Talbot Road from Triangle Park entrance to the walkthrough is 800 yards. The distance along Talbot Road from the walkthrough to Clay Road is 1,408 yards. The distance along Woodbury Avenue from the walkthrough to Clay Road is 1,760 yards. If the walkthrough is parallel to Clay Road, find the distance from the entrance to the walkway along Woodbury. So we have some picture, it looks like this. I'm not gonna draw all the roads in there. Looks like that. They tell us that this is parallel to that. So that means that this angle has to be congruent to that angle. This angle has to be congruent to that angle. So this smaller triangle up top is similar to the bigger triangle. It's just splitting off those two triangles. And they say, going back to this again, Talbot Road, distance along Talbot Road from Triangle Park entrance to the walkthrough is 800. The walkthrough is right here in the middle. This is the walkthrough. So from the entrance to there, that's 880 yards. The distance along Talbot Road from the walkthrough to Clay Road's down here at the bottom, is 1,408 yards, so that goes here. The distance along Woodbury Avenue, which is on the other side, from the walkthrough to Clay Road is 1,760 yards. And if the walkthrough is parallel, find the distance from the entrance to the walkthrough on this road over here. So this is what we're looking for, is X right there. So what you do here, this side's 880, this is X. The bigger triangle's a little tougher because we gotta add these two together to get that whole distance, which is 2,288. And this distance would
Pardon
be...
the interruption. For all teachers, please come to the middle school gym at 6 p.m. You just need to come. You don't have to do anything. Just have to wave and look good. Thank you.
This side over here would be X plus 1,760. Now that's what we would have had to do if we didn't have the theorems that we had last class. Theorem that we had last class said that if this is parallel to this, instead of going through all that, then you can just set up a ratio where these two compare to each other and these two compare to each other. So we could actually set up this proportion, and it's a little easier. 880 over 1408 should equal X over 1760. And that's going to be a whole lot easier than the proportion that we would have had to do over here, which was 880 compared to 2288, and X compares to X plus 1760. Because then we'd had to put parentheses around this and cross multiply, and we'd had X's on both sides, and it makes it a little tougher. So here all we got to do, cross multiply, we get 1408 X equals $1,548,800. Divide both sides by 1408. You end up with X equals 1,100 yards. All right, I'm going to skip a few and just do, let's do a problem Let's do problem 20. And we'll just do all three of those that go along with that same diagram. They tell us that these two are parallel. They tell us in problem 20 that this part is 12 and this part's 6 and this part's 8 and this part is x minus 4. So again, if we know that these two are parallel, instead of have to split off the triangles, if they're parallel, then we can just set up where these two are at a ratio with each other, the same as the two on the other side. So 6 compares to 12, the same as 8 compares to x minus 4. 6 over 12 will reduce to 1 over 2. You can make it a little easier by reducing that. Cross multiply. 1 times x minus 4 is just going to be x minus 4. 2 times 8 is 16. Add 4 to both sides. X equals 20. We do 21. They use the same picture. These two are parallel. This is for problem 21. They tell us that this is x minus 5. This is 15. This is 18. And this is x minus 4. Again, we can just set up x minus 4 compares to 18, same as x minus 5 compares to 15. And you could have went this way, x minus 4 over x minus 5, 18 over 15, that would have let us reduce. I didn't set it up that way, so. We cross multiply, we get 18 times x minus 5 equals 15 times x minus 4. This is 18x minus 90. I got my x equals 15x minus 60. Subtract 15x on both sides. You end up with 3x minus 90 equals negative 60. Add 90 to both sides. 3x equals 30. Divide by 3, x equals 10. And all they wanted us to find was x, so that's it for that one. (22) uses the same picture. Again, these two are parallel. GH is x plus 3.5. HJ is x minus 8.5. FH, that's this whole thing, so you got to be careful here. FH is 21. And HK, which is this whole thing over here, is 7. So you could set it up using the two triangles. Since we know the whole distances, you could set it up where the x plus 3.5 has to match up to the whole side over here, which is 21, and the x minus 8.5 has to match up to the whole side over here, which is 7. Make sure I wrote those down right. If you're trying to use the way that we've been using, which isn't gonna be quite as easy this time. Then you gotta take this 21 and subtract off the x plus 3.5, so 21 minus x plus 3.5, and that's gonna give you this distance here, and take the 7 and subtract off x minus 8.5, and that's gonna give you this distance here, and then you could set up that proportion. So sometimes it's easier one way, depending on the information you're given, sometimes it's easier the other way. This time it's easier to compare the small triangle to the big triangle, and know that this side's 21, this side's 7, this side is x plus 3.5, and this side is x minus 8.5. And you just set this compares to that, the same as that compares to that. Put parentheses around this, cross multiply. We end up with 7 times x plus 3.5 equals 21 times x minus 8.5. We get 7x plus 21. 24.5, then 21x minus 178.5. Subtract 7x on both sides. Get 14x. I'm going to go ahead and add 178.5 on both sides too. And now space down there. 178 plus 24.5 is 203. Divide both sides by 14. Get 203 divided by 14 equals 14.5. So x equals 14.5. Again, sometimes it's easier looking at the two triangles, like here. Sometimes it's easier to just compare this part to this part, and this part to this part. Depends on the problem. If you didn't understand problem 35, don't worry about it. That one's a little tough. And maybe we'll go over it at some point. I'm not too concerned about it.